I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of that. 1798. That's when we had real politicians that said, we're not going to play games. We have to go back to 1798.
Hello, this is Amanda Weinstein, and you're watching Homefront Headlines. I'm here with my husband, Casey Weinstein.
That's me.
We're going to need a drink today.
But this is a special drink.
Fire and brimstone.
It's a mocktail. We're
going to have to do the alcohol later. We're just going to stick with the mocktail, fire and brimstone.
Just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cheers. Yeah.
Cheers.
We have been traveling. Either you or I have been traveling all week. So
we've been everywhere, man. Man, what have we been hearing though?
Well, we're enemies.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
I'm pretty sure if you're watching.
Oh, you're definitely an enemy.
Oh, I'm definitely an enemy.
I mean, like outspoken.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Yeah, that like you're high up on the list. I'm pretty high up, but probably lower on the list than you are. Like you would be higher up on the list, I think, for like enemies within.
As a Jew, yeah, generally, I think Trump specifically said that the Jews who don't support him are, especially the worst. And then he has escalated that this week to calling people who don't support him enemies,
which is a fair number of people. It would be by all metrics, the majority of Americans are the enemy that is within. It's really just the country. I mean, the Constitution, I don't think he really likes that much either.
Yeah. First of all, can we comment on our new Air Force gear? Because we went back to the Air Force Academy, as we mentioned on our show last week, and we stopped by the Visitors Center, spent too much money, but we got our whole family outfitted in Air Force Academy gear. So little shout out going on there.
I mean, speaking of the Air Force Academy, fun to see classmates, love veterans, support all our veterans. I'm also very supportive of the veterans who are coming out to be like, hey, maybe we don't elect a fascist because it's like not good for, defending our country and stuff.
That's what's on my mind is whether it's this enemies within that he wants to use the military. He's threatening to use the military to come after. That is fascism. And I am thankful for. I mean, if we're worried about our gun control policies, imagine unleashing our military on Americans. Like that's like tanks and bombs and shit. Like a lot worse. Well, it's basically the end of our country if that happened. His Trump's derangement and his escalating rhetoric have led to people using the F word. The F word. Mm-hmm. Fascist. And
I mean, you mentioned more than one F word, but yeah, that one.
There's a lot of F words.
Yeah.
I think that's why it had a reaction. Donald Trump, he, for whatever you think about him, if you like him, if you hate him, he is certainly who he is. He's showing us who he is every single day.
Yeah, which is a fascist. And it's crazy because you still don't have news networks having that conversation. Yeah. Like when somebody says, when somebody questions Kamala Harris's blackness or is he a DEI hire, y'all will have roundtable discussions about that, asking that question. How come you're not having roundtable discussions asking, is Donald Trump a fascist? Actually not even asking it, stating it. I mean, when you look at the things that he's talking about doing, jailing journalists, jailing his political opponents, turning the military on American citizens. The guy said he wanted to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. How come that is not the topic of discussion on networks like CNN every day?
Apparently Trump's is going to tape a thing with Joe Rogan. Do you think she should do that?
I think that she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist. And I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because I don't know why we're even thinking about electing somebody who's talking about putting people in camps. I don't know why why we want to elect somebody who's talking about mass deportation. I don't know why we're having this conversation about somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. Aren't we supposed to be a patriotic country? Whenever somebody like Colin Kaepernick takes a knee in this country, everybody talks about, oh, that's so unpatriotic. But a guy can say he wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election and nobody cares.
And
like even me bringing it up now, you brought it back to Kamala and Joe Rogan. Anderson?
Yeah.
Who gives a damn?
It's been a long week, everybody. And we have officially been labeled enemies of the state. So, we got to work our way through that.
Ooh, maybe we could hear it. It says like enemies of the state, according to Trump or something.
I like that.
I'd wear that.
I would wear that. And by the way, proud to be.
Yeah.
And
love it. Red, white, and blue. Love their troublemaker stuff. Love to wear that.
Yeah. Enemy of the state.
According to Trump, most of us are enemies of the state. Super fascist, by the way, to turn your own military on your constituents and Americans.
And John Kelly said it. Like, good for him. Certainly disagreed with a lot of how he operated as chief of staff. He was Trump's longest serving chief of staff.
So probably knows him.
The top White House position, chief of staff. Like, that is the belly button for the whole administration.
Trump did say he hires the best. So this is coming from the best.
Massive numbers of them now coming out and calling him. And then 13 or 14 of his senior administration officials today signed a letter supporting John Kelly in calling Trump a fascist. They're warning us. Listen to them, everybody.
Because he really likes Hitler and Hitler's generals.
Yeah.
Who basically he thinks were yes men. He just wants the military. He wants yes people. I mean, this is how we get a Trump. This is how, when someone surrounds themselves with yes people, this is how we get a Trump. No one's there to say that this is a bad idea. We shouldn't do this. Maybe we don't turn on our own American citizens. Maybe we still give, relief to states, even if the state didn't vote for you. This is bad.
You just mentioned the Hitler thing, and I just realized,
he cannot. I mean, and that is JD Vance. JD Vance is the ultimate ass kissing yes man.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Just come on.
And one of those.
JD Vance went from calling Trump Hitler, called him that, saying he's a never Trumper, to now saying he's a genius in his town hall.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
As we were
man.
We were thinking about,
that's what it looks like to surround yourself with yes men.
We were trying to think about what to talk about this week. It's like there was enemies within the state, there was fascists, and I forgot about the Hitler stuff.
Oh, so much Hitler stuff.
Right. And now here's where we are. Republicans can't condemn Trump, which you didn't deny it. Trump has not denied it.
We should be clear. Hitler's bad.
Yeah. Can we all just say Hitler's bad?
He's not good. Yeah. The history with Hitler, not good. Not good.
Why are we drinking mocktails here? This is Hitler Fascist Enemies Week. Enemies of the state.
Stronger.
Okay.
You probably add something in there. I remember vividly my grandfather talking about being there on D-Day.
Yeah.
Talking about fighting actual Nazis, liberating a concentration camp, forcing every single person in that town, which the town was separated from the concentration camp by a chain link fence, forcing them to walk through that so no one could deny that what Hitler did was pure evil.
He told me this story.
Not some percentage evil, pure evil. Yeah. Not some percent good, some percent bad, pure evil.
Right. And I thought we had an agreement across political lines here that Hitler was bad and that the party that would be aligning with Hitler or claiming that
I thought the Republicans hated communism and now they love Putin.
Yeah.
China. Do we not know the history of Russia and China?
It's right wing.
No, we don't.
They don't care about the power aspect or the control or the size of government anymore. Democrats are the party of limited government now. We're the ones fighting for privacy and personal liberties.
We're talking about the deficit.
Right.
We're the ones talking about, also, let's be real. We're the party of for the economy. Let's look at what Obama did. Let's look at what Biden did. Basically, we're like the economy cleaner uppers, the Democratic Party, because we actually understand what the economy is and the fundamentals of the economy. The economy is mostly people. You need a party for the people to have a good economy. And it turns out that's the Dems, which most Nobel Prize winning economists agree with. Yeah. A ton of them have come out now to say that they support the economy. And then on the other side, you have Trump, who's like, I don't know, maybe massive tariffs.
And no income tax anymore. We're going to get rid of all taxes and just do tariffs, which are actually taxes on Americans, and that other countries retaliate. That's something that we're not talking about is things don't happen in a global economy in a vacuum. So if America were to jack up our tariffs significantly, China already has threatened to devalue its currency massively, which would give them which would really give them a ton of purchasing
but tariffs are a self-own. That's what tariffs are. Yeah. They are an economic self-own. You raise a tax on ourselves. That money that we charge the tariff is ultimately Americans are going to pay for it. So we're charging Americans more money for a good and giving them fewer choices and pay more for the choices they do have. It's this economic self-own.
Meanwhile, eliminating the income tax would obliterate our ability to fund things like healthcare, like basic infrastructure, like our military, like our veterans, things that I thought we agreed were important.
Anything for the federal government.
The entire federal government. Like you'd have
Medicare, Social Security,
right?
All the things. But if you look at Trump's tax plan, it really benefits a very small number of people. Do you know who those people are?
Mostly billionaires and
mostly like Elon Musk. Like you could probably name most of the people that benefit. Like you could write a list and just name off. That's like who benefits, and the rest of us don't.
And it comes back to Putin because the Wall Street Journal, that liberal rag, the Wall Street Journal this week reported that Elon Musk has been having conversations consistently with Putin over the last 2 years.
Again, if we know the history, Russia doesn't like us.
Right.
They're not our friends. So when we start rooting for and listening to our enemies, which is Russia, not Americans, it's not going to go well for our country, which is exactly what Russia wants.
I just as a Democrat now, we are fighting for freedom, for liberty, for smaller government. We are talking about how great America is. Do you remember Ronald Reagan? Did he trash America?
No.
We were the shining city on a hill. Trump today is out saying we're a garbage dump. Or maybe this was yesterday, but he is constantly talking shit about our country. Yeah. Democrats are the Patriot Party, the proud Americans, even rooting for Team USA, which we really got into as a family. So the Republicans found ways to hate on Team USA and the MAGAs. Let me say that. What is going on? We have pride in our country. We have pride in our military and our veterans, but
because we have a deeper understanding of our country that is not based on some, childlike idea of what our country is. We understand our country is complicated, but also amazing. It is this tapestry. I heard it recently described, who was it? It was in one of Kamala's one. He described our country as a quilt where Trump wants it to be a sheet.
Well, it
is
a white sheet.
Well, we know. It's obviously he wants it to
It's a patchwork. It absolutely is.
Yes. And that makes it beautiful and amazing. And that is the strength of our country, not the weakness.
And worth fighting for.
Absolutely.
And I want to bring it back to veterans because, as you said earlier, you're thankful for the generals who maybe agreed with Trump on policy and served us in his administration, but they're understanding that he is a threat to the fundamental democracy that that is our quilt, that ties it all together. Right. Yeah. So you have to salute them. And now they're attacking John Kelly. They spent the week attacking John Kelly. Is nothing sacred for them? I don't know.
It's just Trump. Just Trump is the sacred thing.
I know. You're absolutely right.
Literally, it's at the level of idolatry.
And I find it interesting that a reporter confronted Trump and said, "Your former chief of staff and many others are saying that you praised Hitler's generals and said Hitler did some good things." And Trump immediately went into, John Kelly's a loser. Didn't deny that he said that. He's not denying it, guys. This is the H word. This is Hitler. This is the worst villain of the last 100 years, at least.
The Atlantic is reporting that you said that you wanted the kind of generals that Hitler had. Is that something that you've ever said?
No, I never said that.
What did you think?
It's a rag that he made up stories. He's done it before. It's a failing magazine. Right before the election, it's just a failing magazine.
With Kamala Harris, she talked about his crowd sizes and how at his tiny little crowd sizes, you're only going to hear him talk about himself. He's never going to actually talk about you Americans and making America better for most Americans. Right. And he said nothing about that. All he could say was, "Nuh-uh, my crowd sizes are big." That's all he's done since.
Yeah. She had a great line.
Never once said, "Yes, I'm talking about Americans."
She had a great line in her CNN town hall. He has an enemies list. She has a to-do list. And this to-do list is fantastic. I encourage you to check it out on
involves Americans.
Yeah. It's small business tax credit.
Love small business.
Do you know any economists who think that small businesses are important? I'm not going to get her. I'm not going to get her started on that.
You want to talk about prices? We should be talking about market power.
Oh no, she's doing it. She's talking about.
Elon Musk, who want the entire market that allows them to do price gouging and whatever they want in the market. This is what they're creating, a system of very few rich people who have all of the market power, who are able to, when there's a tariff, for example, also charge you the entire tariff.
Wait, that worked out great in the 1920s. That was great in the 1920s. But what happened after that? Oh, the Great Depression. Well, we are all over the place. We have a lot of history. We should also be talking about history more often. We are all over the place. Kamala's to-do list is fantastic. It is the first-time home buyer credit. It is the passing the bipartisan border deal that Trump killed so that he could campaign on it. I mean, that is if you care about immigration or prices or housing. Right. The economy. It's providing Medicare for in-home care, home health care, right? She has got this amazing to-do list. That's what happens when you listen to people. Yeah. And you listen to the wants and needs of people instead of telling them what they should think, which is really the Republican Party. They want to tell you what to think. They want to tell you what to do or not to do in your bedroom, with your doctor, with your children, in your schools. Not listen to us and what I want with my kids, what I want with my schools, what I want with my healthcare. Hold on, dogs. Hold on. They're giving us the look about when we go out. But I completely agree. Like you've mentioned this on your podcast about the job of a public servant, a politician like me. It's not rocket science. It's listening to people and doing things that will help them. It's not about you. It also requires empathy. Right. Like that really requires understanding the needs and wants of people, listening, understanding what they're saying. And I don't think anyone on either side would think Trump is empathetic. No. He's pathetic, but not empathetic. But I think her closing argument, which she's going to be making, she made with Bruce Springsteen, Barack Obama. She's going to be on the campaign trail with Michelle Obama, Beyonce. There's 1 million tickets bought for this Beyonce. It was Tyler Perry that talked about the quilt. Perry. I knew that's who it was. Oh, God. Tyler Perry. Did you hear what he said about the former Confederate fort that he now owns the land? No. Oh, God. You got to check out this Tyler Perry speech that he gave where he's like, talk about progress and what it means to empower people and people who have been, historically enslaved, or like, what is the greatness of America? It's giving those people the opportunity, the equality of opportunity. And in Tyler Perry's case, he literally owns the land that used to be a Confederate fort.
You want to hear something about an American dream? Fort McPherson was once a Confederate army base where there were Confederate soldiers trying to plot and plan on how to keep 3.9 million Negroes enslaved. Now that land is owned by me.
I mean, and the part that I think gets left out of the conversation is when we leave people behind. That's really expensive. It is really expensive for our economy to leave people behind. When everyone, as you said, has access to economic opportunity, it's actually cheaper. I'm into spending less, but you have to spend it up front. You actually have to invest in communities, invest in people. And that way we can give everyone access to opportunity. And then
they're paying taxes. Yes, they're making money. They're
productive jobs. They're productive members of our economy. It does not make sense for our economy to leave people out of it.
Say that one more time. That's a great line. It's expensive to leave people behind. Oh God, that was good. I'm gonna have to rewatch that part.
Yeah. Also, like stingy pays twice. If you fail to invest in people from the get-go, you're going to pay later.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I want to close with what these two enemies of the state are going to be doing this weekend, which is getting out the vote. So I have a lot of people messaging me right now saying, I'm stressed out, I'm anxious, I'm nervous.
We're stressed out.
I get it. I'm right there with you. But here's what I tell them.
We're
gonna go from mocktail to cocktail.
Good,
last week, by the way, Amanda offered me a mocktail with alcohol in it. So I was like,
In fairness, I was missing an ingredient.
So a cocktail
Prosecco seemed like a good substitution.
And I was like, yes, I will do that. But little call to action here. Put a yard sign out. Get out and talk to your neighbors or your friends about the importance of voting all the way down the ballot. Even if they're not thrilled about one part of the ticket, there are so many important local races. There are issues.
That's a good point. Talk about people heard a lot about the presidential race. Very important. But people might not actually fill in those bubbles for their down ballot,
right?
Which can be more important, especially for people that think the states should decide things.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback on that because most states are not competitive. It's only a handful of states that it's really close that are going to decide the election. So some people may feel, I don't need to vote, whatever. Get out and vote. Your state legislature, your issues in Ohio, we're going to kill gerrymandering.
Yes.
We are going to take that power. And your member of Congress is so important. Kamala Harris, President Harris, Vice President Walz need a Democratic Congress.
Yeah, they need Senate and Congress to get stuff done.
Talk to people about the importance of that.
Because it's not a dictatorship.
It's not.
Yeah, so they need Senate and Congress.
Yeah.
That's an understanding of our country and Constitution.
Look up your local races. I guarantee there's someone you can get out and help. Even if it's just, I mean, the most minor thing like following a social media page or writing a supportive comment or something, that will make you feel better and less anxious. I promise. Also, cocktails.
Oh, as Michelle Obama said, do something.
Do something. When she floated down from heaven at the DNC, angelic, and spread her wings and said, do something. And we were like, yes, Michelle. Yes, we will. We will do something. So let's toast to that.
Toast.
And
have a good weekend.
Yeah, we're kind of all over the place today, but there's so much. There's so much out there. We got your backs, fellow enemies of the Trump state. Let's go make sure that we never let that man back into the White House. Oh, please no. Cheers.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.